Hello, and welcome to the panel at Dublin BIC. My name is Martin Murray, and today I'm delighted to be here with Katarina Antill, the founder and CEO of Bonafi. Bonafi is a platform operating in the pharmaceutical regtech space, which validates the identification and the authorization of organizations in the pharmaceutical supply chain. I think I have that right, but we're going to hear a lot more detail on it from Katarina in a moment. Katarina, you're very welcome.
Great, thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
Katarina, Bonafide, first of all, is all about patient safety. Can you tell me, what are the risks to patient safety in the pharmaceutical supply chain that against which Bonafide is going to protect them?
Yeah, sure. Well, just to start off, patient safety, that is our why. That is why we're doing what we're doing. It's something that I feel very strongly about. It's followed me actually throughout my entire career, because prior to pharma, I was in aviation, working with safety equipment for airlines, which is focusing on passenger safety. So taking the step to Bonafide, going out to protect patients, that was a natural step in starting Bonafide. And we are protecting patients from falsified, counterfeit, substandard medicines. There are a bit different definitions of them, but at the end of the day, what that means is that we need to protect patients from taking harmful substances that either has no effect or potential harmful effects. That 1 in 10 medicines on the market today is falsified. That's a huge number. Yeah, absolutely. Now that varies between regions. So in regions like EU, where we have a pretty strong regulatory framework, we're looking at approximately 1%, but that's still a huge figure. 1% of the medications today is suspected to be falsified, counterfeit, or substandard. And then you're looking at low to middle income countries. You could be looking at certain countries, well, Africa, for instance, a lot different figure. You know, you could be looking at up to 30% of all medicines on the market is suspected to be counterfeit or falsified.
Wow, that is quite shocking for a consumer such as myself to hear. Okay, so obviously we do need to be protected in terms of the quality of the drugs that go through the pharmaceutical supply chain and end up in the pharmacy where I'm going to purchase them. How does that protection happen right now? And why is there a need for a new solution from Bonafide, and what is that solution that Bonafide is delivering?
So falsified medicines, it's an incredibly complex area. Like I said, it's global in reach, and it requires the collaboration across agencies, authorities, regulators, cross-jurisdictional collaboration between agencies and the industry. And so a part of that is what we talked about earlier, or you described, is the verification and authentication of customers and suppliers. It's the first step. You know, you have to know who you're buying medicinal products from. You need to know who you're selling it to. Because otherwise you put yourself in the pharmaceutical supply chain at risk, and patients at risk of receiving substandard medicines or falsified medicines. Okay. So today it's a
So today, how does that happen?
So today it's a regulatory requirement to do that. You have to verify the authenticity before you start trading, and then periodically, at minimum once a year, certain cases more often. And that's quite an undertaking today. It's a very manual process. If you think about it, you could have pharmaceutical companies who trades with thousands of customers, and they have hundreds of suppliers in their network. And we're talking customers such as pharmacies, hospitals, GPs, clinics, wholesalers, distributors, anyone who's storing product for them, manufacturers, subcontractors. All of those actors in the supply chain has to be authenticated because they have to be approved by their own local country authority. So the way it's done today, as I mentioned, it's manual, which means that you have your, you look up registries online, you take screenshots which would serve you as evidence of your due diligence. You would save it to your customer master record or supplier record together with other evidence, or you print it out if you have a paper-based process. And then the one thing that's really amazing is that you track these important compliance activities using spreadsheets. So if you're a fairly large organization trading with thousands of customers and suppliers, and you have multiple people accessing the same spreadsheet to update details, it's a recipe for errors. It's a manual process.
Let me just check that I understand what you're saying here. So I'm a billion-dollar stock exchange market quoted pharmaceutical manufacturer. I distribute my drugs perhaps to a distributor, and I need to be able to prove that I've only distributed my drugs to distributors who are authorized to receive those. And in order to do that, what I do is I go into some database provided by a regulator, the FDA or the EMA or somebody like that. And in there, my distributor is listed, and it's listed that they're allowed to receive and distribute this particular drug. I then take a screenshot of that registry entry on the regulator's website. I maybe print it out, maybe I sign and date it, and I punch 2 holes into it, and I put it into a lever arch file, and then I update my Excel spreadsheet to say that I've done this and I'm going to do it again in a year's time or something. It is fairly shocking to me to hear that in the year 2020 that is how it currently happens.
It is, and that's why we need Bonafide.
Okay, great. So tell me, what is Bonafide going to do?
So what we're doing is we're digitizing the process, and keeping in mind that we have patient safety in mind. Our focus, our whole, we're building our reg tech with patient safety in mind. So that means that our solutions, it has to improve compliance, it has to reduce risk, patient risk and corporate risk, and it has to be efficient. It cannot take more time to stabilize or make a robust process. It has to make it quicker. So like I said, we're digitizing the process. We're incorporating constant monitoring, alert systems to actually give people a peace of mind. And that phrase, peace of mind, is something that I've heard from many different companies in the industry that I've talked to. Because as we have developed the product, we have gotten feedback from the industry on what we need to put together. And the one thing that people are consistent with is that it would give them a peace of mind. They don't have to be afraid that a line in their spreadsheet is going to disappear and not knowing it, or that information managed data is, data that's manually manipulated is going to be incorrect. So that's what Bonafide will bring to the table. Improve compliance, reduce risk, and improve efficiencies.
Okay, so I take it that the Bonafide platform has real-time access to those regulatory agencies, and now as a manufacturer of drugs, I will know immediately if an authorization changes and I can no longer supply my drug to that distributor in the marketplace.
Correct, yeah, actually, and that's a good point. That's the alert system. So that means, let's say that you authorized a company a month ago, and something changes on that registry. Our system is out there constantly monitoring this, and a notification will pop up to say, hey, there's a change in this registry. What do you want to do with it? Okay. So, and that, like I said, it gives people a peace of mind that there's one place they can manage all these activities in without being afraid that they will lose information or miss dates, because it depends on how your process is set up. You may need to consistently verify customers or suppliers throughout the year. And how do you know that this particular customer is due, next year, the date?
So for the patient or consumer, we should have a much safer supply chain, ensuring that the drugs you're receiving are authentic. For the manufacturer and the other players in that supply chain, there is a massive reduction in the labor involved in doing that validation. And of course, there's a great risk mitigation but by having it digitized and in real time and with your alert feature. Okay, yeah. That absolutely makes sense. It's a cliche to say 2020 has been a very strange year. We've all become much more aware of the need for the fast and safe discovery, validation, production, distribution of drugs, particularly vaccines around COVID-19. And we're all watching the news wires to hearing about first trials and second trials and trying to figure out what that means in terms of when a vaccine might be available. In this strange new world that we find ourselves in, are there increased risks for the patient in terms of the quality of drugs?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, falsified medicine, the trade and trafficking in falsified medicine in a normal environment is a challenge. But the problem has been compounded during this pandemic. The biggest thing that has been shown so far is the falsification of personal protective equipment for medical use. So that's a whole new market that's been discovered this year. And there's also been increase in falsified medicines out there on the market. Now, what is expected now is, and also actually there are scams saying that, there is treatment for COVID, there is a cure for COVID. Those type of scams are also going around online. What's expected is that once there is a treatment for COVID and once there is a vaccine for COVID that's been approved, it's expected that the shift will move from PPEs to increased falsification of drugs, either treatment drugs or vaccines. So that's something to watch out for. The European Medicine Agency came out, I think it was in March this year, and urged the public to be vigilant, urged the public to make sure you don't buy from unauthorized websites. Know who you're buying from. The EMA has a website with all the registered, all the legit online pharmacies. So there are opportunists, and there's a whole array of scams that's been introduced on top of this as a result of COVID-19.
Okay, that's very illuminating. So what is the status of the Bonafide solution? When will it be out there in the marketplace? And what does the next 2 years look like for Bonafide?
Well, I think the next 2 years will be extremely busy. Right now, we finished our first part of a beta trial, and we're gearing up now for a second part of a beta trial. We've taken the initial feedback we've gotten, we've strengthened the product. We're actually adding another 16 registries onto the platform with the expectation to go live early next year. And so right now we're focusing on the Irish and UK markets, but we are looking to expand rather quickly out to Europe. Now, what's interesting is that our product is not designed specifically for the Irish or UK market. So it means that our product, anyone in the world or could actually find value in the product. So, but we are focusing our efforts on Ireland and UK for now.
Very good. Okay, so early 2021, you'll be in the market in Ireland and the UK and ready to move further afield thereafter. Okay. Yeah. Katarina Antill, founder and CEO of Bonafide, thank you for informing me about the pharmaceutical supply chain, the risks that are in it, and what Bonafide is doing in order to improve that situation. Thank you.
Great, thank you.